All right, let's talk about something you see on the roads every single day. We're going to dive into a modern financial trap, the huge, and I mean huge, hidden cost of owning one of those big, beautiful status symbol pickup trucks. You know, the ones that you don't actually use for work. It's a decision that feels amazing in the moment, but it can have some pretty devastating consequences down the line. And you know the feeling, right? Just picture it. You're in the driver's seat of a brand new, top-of-the-line truck. You got the smell of that new leather, all the crazy tech on the dashboard, and you're just looking down on all the other cars. There is no denying it. It's an incredible feeling of power, of status. It makes you feel like you can do anything. But here's the question we have to ask ourselves. What is the real all-in, no-kidding price tag for that feeling? Because I can promise you, it is way, way higher than the number you see on the window sticker. So let's put a name to this whole phenomenon. It's a term that, honestly, it just perfectly captures what we're talking about here. A Pavement Princess. What is it? Well, it's that truck that looks like it's ready to haul a ton of bricks at a construction site, but in reality, it spends 99% of its life on clean asphalt. You know, commuting to the office, going to the grocery store, it's a heavy-duty work tool that's being used as a luxury car. And to really put this into perspective, let's talk about the price. The sticker price for one of these fully loaded trucks can easily top $84,000. Think about that for a second. The vehicle in your driveway costs more than what the typical American family earns in an entire year. That is just wild. Okay, so this is where the trap really snapshot. See, the dealership, they want you to focus on one number and one number only. But the reality of what actually flies out of your bank account every single month, that's a completely different story. So the dealer, they show you this, a monthly payment of $1,247. And to make that number seem even remotely possible, they'll stretch that loan out to 84 months. That's 7 years. And on the surface, you might go, okay, I think I can swing that. But hold on, that payment from the dealer, that's just the starting line. When you start adding in all the other stuff, like the extra gas for an engine that gets maybe 15 miles a gallon, the higher insurance because it's a $90,000 asset, the insane cost of replacing those giant tires, not to mention maintenance, taxes, your true monthly cost just explodes to over $1,700. So what does this actually mean for your future? Let's run a little experiment. Let's look at the long-term impact by comparing two different financial paths, all stemming from this one big decision. Meet driver A. They buy the truck, and it's costing them that true $1,729 a month. Now, meet driver B. They choose a perfectly good, reliable sedan for about $850 a month all in. That right there creates a massive monthly cash flow difference of almost $900. And just look at how this plays out over those 7 years. After all that time, driver A is left with a truck that's now worth about $45,000. Not bad. But driver B, they took that extra $879 every month and invested it. So now they own their car free and clear, plus they have about $95,000 sitting in an investment account. Their net worth is more than double. It's not even close. You know, this whole thing, it's not just about numbers on a page. That huge monthly payment, it actually starts to warp your entire life. It limits your freedom, and it just creates this constant background hum of stress for years and years. Think about the real-world ripple effects. That giant payment can absolutely trash your debt-to-income ratio, making it nearly impossible to get a mortgage for a house. It means saying no to vacations with your family, struggling to save up even a small emergency fund, and it can trap you in a job you hate just because you literally cannot afford to quit. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. You know that initial thrill of driving the new truck? It fades. It's called hedonic adaptation. We just get used to things. But that financial stress, that shows up right on time, every single month for 7 straight years. You're trading a short-term buzz for long-term pain. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. You've probably got a few arguments ready to defend this kind of purchase. So let's tackle those common justifications head on with some simple, straightforward math. This is the number one defense you hear. It's the big one. People are convinced that because trucks depreciate by a smaller percentage, they're actually a smarter financial move. But we need to look at the actual dollars. So let's look at the real numbers. Forget percentages for a minute. Let's just talk about cold, hard cash. Sure, the truck only lost 40% of its value, but 40% of a huge number is still a huge loss. you've lost $36,000 in value. The sedan, it loses a higher percentage, yeah, but the actual dollar amount you lost is less than half that. You simply lose way more money on the expensive truck, period. All right, next up, the just-in-case argument. This is the idea that you have to own this massive truck for that one weekend a year you go to Home Depot for a big project. The logic here just completely falls apart when you think about it for more than 5 seconds. You are paying an $80,000 premium over 7 years for a capability you could literally rent for $30 a day whenever you need it. The math it doesn't work. It's not even in the same ballpark. Okay, so if the Pavement Princess is a trap, what's the way out? What's the alternative? How do you avoid falling into it? Or if you're already there, how do you escape? Well, the path to freedom is actually pretty simple. It all starts with a change in mindset. Your car is just transportation, it's not who you are. From there, you buy a reliable, affordable, maybe even boring vehicle that meets your actual daily needs. You finance it for 3 years tops, and then you take all that money you're saving every month and you use it to build the life you really want. And this is the most important part. This isn't about being cheap, it's about being smart. It is a strategic choice to prioritize your financial freedom, your life experiences, and your peace of mind over just financing an image. And that really brings us to the final core idea here. Real financial strength isn't about owning the biggest, baddest thing on the road. It's about having the wisdom to look at the actual numbers and the discipline to choose the path that builds real, lasting wealth, not the one that just pretends to. So we'll just leave you with this final question to think about. The next time you're looking for a vehicle, ask yourself, what am I really buying here? Am I buying a tool to get me from A to B? Or am I setting up for a financial prison sentence that just happens to have really nice seats? The choice is always yours.